Police officers and first responders wear badges to let their communities know they are here to protect and serve. But it comes at a price. Samantha Horwitz and John Salerno work with police departments across the country to bring valuable recovery, insight resources, and workshops. A Badge of Honor TV brings those professionals to you so we can come together and revitalize communities through a better understanding of what's at stake and what's required for repair. So take a load off and turn up your TV. It's about to get real.
Hey, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam on Mental Health Monday and post-traumatic growth. I'm bringing that into the realm, Sam, because, you know, we really got to focus on post-traumatic growth within our community as well. It's not so much the post-traumatic healing, but it's the growth and the steps we take forward. How you doing?
Absolutely, doing great. And remember from our guest last week, we're going to call it Mental Wellness Monday instead of
Mental
health.
Wellness Monday.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Mental Wellness Monday.
Because that's the goals. Take away the stigma.
Between everything we go through each and every day and what we hear on the news, you know, all first responders are out there doing a great job. Once again, kudos to the Arlington PD for an amazing job that they are doing here in Texas, keeping the crowds under control and the visitors that are coming in from every country for the World Cup. God bless you guys. You guys are really shining and showing our country such respect. I've had a chance to meet with many of them on my way to work, and it has just been a blessing to see how these people are treating our country. It's great. It's better than some of our own people. You know, and our first responders go out there each and every day, and they play multiple roles. And today, you know, Sam, we want to dedicate today's show to Charles Woodward. He was a Maybank fire marshal who was out at the rodeo down in Maybank, Texas. And, you know, I just read the article, and so many people love this man. And he was out there doing his thing. He was so compassionate to the community, and he was struck and killed while directing traffic as people were leaving the rodeo. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. You know, this is something that our first responders do each and every day. It's not always the criminal that takes us out. It could be a vehicle, it could be a car, it could be anything. A heart attack on the job, but our first responders are putting their lives on the line each and every day.
Absolutely. And, you know, you mentioned heart attack on the job and, you know, on and off the job, we want to avoid that. And our guest tonight started a really cool organization that dives deep into how we stay well and healthy on the job. And when you can translate the physical, which takes care of the mental. If you do the physical, your mental is in check. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience being out on the street, and he knows what it means to be stressed and struggle and going through treatment and coming out and realizing, hey, you know, I've got a formula. We can do this. And so without further ado, let's bring on Frank Voce with Reps for Responders. Frank, welcome to A Badge of Honor TV.
Welcome, Frank.
Thank you. Hi, Sam. Hi, John. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, tell everybody listening and watching here a little bit about you and your background.
Sure. So my name is Frank Voce. I am the president and founder of the nonprofit Reps for Responders. But even before that, I am a father. I am a husband. I am a son. I am friends of a man with many friends. And I am a law enforcement officer. I'll have 11 years this July. I work in a really big city in New York, but I'm here to represent myself and my journey, and currently hold the rank of sergeant.
You know, Frank, I love the way you introduce yourself, because most people that come on the show, either veterans or first responders, they'll always identify with their job first. They'll always say, well, I'm a retired police officer, or I'm a United States Marine or whatever. You put your family first. And man, that gave me chills, because I think you're the only person we've had on this podcast that introduced themselves like that, putting their family first. God bless you for that.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, what we talk about a lot in our workshops are we take on the identity of the job, and it kind of follows us wherever we go. We're introduced our first name and what we do. If you're a banker, you're not introduced that way. You have a first and last name.
Right.
But as we've all, had it, John, Frank, Sam, the cop. And so with that, one of the things we try to stress is that you are you and you chose this profession. And so I want to start off right off the bat by saying, how do we keep that separation? And you started, like I said, reps for responders. Let's go into the organization.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Sam. You said something really powerful about making a choice. And that's going to come into, my story. So I've got sworn in 2015, and I left that department to a smaller town department in 2018, 2019. And that is when I started to go through some, I would call it the hero journey. I call it when life forces you to make a decision where you have to, the shadow will come out, right? I call it Carl Jung, the shadow. The more we stuff things down in life, guys, right? It's going to appear at one point or another, whether we like it or not. So that's what happened to me in 2018 and 2019. And the shadow part of us, right? It's going to get a little deep here, Sam, is that it's not good or bad. It just is. It's just things as this inside that we might have judged or been ashamed of. So when I went to this new department, I just went through a hard transition. And I said, do I want to do solo patrol in my hometown for 20 years? And I felt like I couldn't escape. I felt like I made a wrong choice, leaving the department, because as I heard, John, even in 2015, 2016, the job is dead, kid. You got to get out, And I didn't really have a bad experience, right? But I just thought that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I got out and, I started to hang out with Jack and Jose. And I went from drinking on the weekends with the guys to, I'm a cop. I can't ask for help. If I do, the story a lot of us has probably heard that I'm going to lose my gun. I'm going to lose my badge. I'm going to never be a cop again. I can't. So I started to isolate and I started to drink a lot by myself. I was ashamed. Started just a lot of symptoms of depression. And I was in a really bad way in 2018. And then I went back to my department. You have about a year to go back. So I went back. And then a lot of things in my life were crumbling, a lot. And I didn't know really what was happening to me inside. At that time, I did not know that I had the disease of alcoholism, and it completely festered out. And I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and alcohol use disorder in 2018. My family was very worried about me. So I ended up voluntarily checking into the hospital in Manhattan and downtown at Presbyterian. And then I told them the story, what's going on. And they said, well, we'll get you some help. And I said, okay, no problem. So I went to the Westchester Center and I didn't know that it was a psych ward. And since I told them very straightforward and honestly, I didn't care if I lived or died, they couldn't just let me leave. So I did that for about 6 weeks in and out. Now it's early 2019 and I started going through the process at work and I didn't want to go away again. My ego was protecting me, right? The manager part of me was protecting me and didn't want to have to go through that again. But I have a very loving mother and I said, what else do I have to lose? So I went to High Watch Recovery Center in Kent, Connecticut in 2019. And I went from February 2019 to April 2019. That's the farm. In police terms, over here in New York, the farm. I went to rehab, a 30-day inpatient program. And I got out.
I didn't know if the farm was still there. It was quite prevalent when I was on a job. I didn't know if they still had the farm there.
Yeah, there's multiple farms now, but the treatment centers are very improving for sure. So I went to High Watch in Kent, Connecticut, and that's when I was really introduced to AA recovery and started to put the work in. And I got out and I put some weight on. I lost a lot of weight from not eating because of depression. And then I put a lot of weight on. I was on a lot of different medications. I've never been on medications before. So my body was having a lot of different reactions. And long story short, I'm not going to go through the battle stories. And I can tell you guys some God moment stories just over there and in the hospital, right? But In 2019, I made a decision, right? And step 3 in Alcoholics Anonymous is step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our life over to God as we understood him. And I didn't know what that meant then. I had no idea. But I finally surrendered, and I said, I'm done talking about this. I'm a man of action. And September 23rd of 2019, when I started my recovery journey, my girlfriend came back into my life. She left for a bit because I wasn't, John and Sam, I wasn't being honest. I was in full blown, alcoholism. And she came back into my life, and she said I'll never forget this day. It was at a dog park. She said, "Why are you doing this to yourself? You're punishing yourself. You still have your job. Your friends are in your life. I came back into your life. I'm this close to leaving again. Why are you doing this to yourself?" And she saved my life that day. I said, "I'm going to go to a meeting tonight." And I went to one AA meeting, to another one, and another one, and another one. And I slowly just started to buy into the program of AA. But then I also started to realize in 2019, 10 officers within the Department of New York City, the NYPD, they lost their life to suicide. And from the rank of police officer to the rank of chief. And I said, oh my gosh, I was so close to being number 11. Who could have been 12, 13, 14, 15? And I wanted to join the fight. And 4 months into my recovery, I just started a nonprofit. I had the idea. So I started doing a lot of research. I just started to really dive deep into first responder wellness, first responder mental health, all these things you're not taught in the academy, right? And 20% of everyday people suffer from trauma and PTSI and anxiety. It increases to 30% for first responders. 1 in 5 officers have suicidal ideation in their lifetime. The average age of a cop is 57 to 65. 50% of officers within the first 5 years of retirement have a major cardiovascular issue. Right? And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going through a hard time, but it's not so uncommon for first, right? Because you always hear, don't ask for help. You're going to lose your job in the academy. Don't trust anybody. And there's only so much that the human body and brain can take. And when you, like I said, when you stuff that shadow bag for even, for a long time on the job, you can't forget about all the stuff, John and Sam, we went through before we got on the job, because we always knew anything you went through and you talk to someone about it, you'll never get hired in the first place. So there's a lot of childhood, the word trauma, right? And the way you grew up in the family system that affects you. And that does affect you going to be an officer. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you firsthand, it affects me, especially when you go on domestic violence. I guarantee you most officers in their career, when they're on a DV call, even though they can't help it or not, it comes up, something that relates to them when they grew up, right? So this is very important work that we have to start, guys, and that's where Reps for Responders came in. So I said, you know what? Knew nothing about business, know nothing about nonprofit. In 2020, we opened up a gym free for first responders and military, March of 20.
Hey, Frank, we got to, let's start the story of Reps for Responders when we come back from our first break. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% US-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
Hey, doesn't it feel good when it says make an impact every time you use your cell phone or mobile device? I mean, we don't really think about that. We just need to use it for something, right? But it is true at Patriot Mobile, your dollars make a difference because you have 100% control on where that money goes to. So stop giving your money to the big 3 that we know just from, I don't know, watching the stupid stuff going on this month. If you saw any ads for those big 3, you kind of know where your money's going, and not good. Anyway, right now, if you call 972-PATRIOT and you use promo code BADGE, you will get a free month of service. What does that mean for you? First of all military first responder discounts, not only for you, but your entire family, okay? Who doesn't want to save money, right? Second, you will get a free month of service, which means you can try Patriot Mobile out and they ping off the top 3, which means your phone, no matter where you are, you don't pay for roaming. We've all paid for roaming, right? Yeah, that adds up. So you don't pay for roaming with Patriot Mobile. It's totally free. So you can bring your device over or you can get a new device. Again, why not try it? Take advantage of all the discounts because Patriot Mobile wants to thank you for your service. So 972 Patriot promo code badge, or go to patriotmobile.com/badge and fill out the information, and a member of Patriot Mobile team here in North Texas will give you a call back. And I have been hearing, John, that, it's summertime, families are traveling. There are 2 new devices that Patriot Mobile is coming out with that you will be able to take advantage of with some really good discounts, where you are guaranteed never, ever, ever to lose service. Even if you're going off the grid, you'll still be able to be connected. So we'll have that hopefully by the next show. We'll get to talk about that. But right now, back to the show with Frank Voce. I'm Voce. Sorry, I messed that up.
You're messing it up this time.
That's not. Now I'm messing it up.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with Frank and Sam. Before we took our commercial break, Frank, you're telling us about your journey, and everybody's journey is a little different, but a couple of things sparked questions that you brought up that were really valid points. We're told never to ask for help, right? Did anybody see the battles that you were facing when you were on a job or during your job that, hey, maybe Frank's drinking too much, or, did anybody see it, or was it well hidden? Because I'm sure somebody had to see it.
During the job, it happened very quickly. People knew when I did the transition to the other department that I lost about 20 pounds in 3 months. Like, I was doing competitive powerlifting. I stopped really doing the things I love. So my family was very concerned. People in the department, yes, but not to the point where I was really, really suffering, And before that, I was, how do we say this? I was a 4 to 12 cop doing 4 to 12 things. So the people you hang out with, they're not going to call you out on it because, as they say,
force.
Yep.
But see, this is what we discuss a lot. And, sometimes when someone's battling, especially with an addiction, with alcoholism or any other addictions, or they're going through some sort of stress, it is hard to ask for help because the job makes it hard to ask for help. But you know what? We will pick up the radio and we'll respond to a 1013. Officer needs assistance all the time. We will respond without hesitation to a foot chase or anything else, right? But for some reason, we have a hard time going down into the locker room, patting the guy on the shoulder and saying, hey, brother, I'm here for you. How could I help? We have to provide that. The outside officers have to provide that when they see a brother battling or a sister battling, because it is so ingrained to us not to ask for help. Sometimes we need that help to come to us. And it's our job as brothers and sisters in blue or red or yellow or green, whatever colors you're flying. We have that obligation to help out our fellow officers. So, that's why I wanted, because I know when I was back on a job, man, and I was guilty of it. I saw a lot of cops, man. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I saw a lot of cops popping open up their lockers, taking a swig. I've had old-time cops in the car drinking with me when I was a rookie. And it never dawned on me that they were battling. It never dawned on me that they had issues. But now we have so many resources out there. We have to open up our eyes to the issues of other officers.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I think it's kind of the statement of how do you don't know what you don't know, right? So who wants to admit, hi, my name is Frank, I'm an alcoholic, I have a drinking problem, I'm going through a hard time. When you've been doing it for so long, right? Or it's integrated into the job, right? Because it was passed down before your generation, John, right? The 70s and the 80s, it was passed, right? So it started from somewhere, and it was just, kind of like the family lineage of being an officer.
It was a norm.
So when you think you're doing the next right thing, and when you start to say, well, I deserve this, and this is just what we do as cops, if you want to play that game, I could say that I know firsthand it's a very dangerous game you're playing with there. And just be very mindful of that statement when you start to use, I deserve this because I did that, right? So thanks for bringing that up, John, because at the end of the day, it's on us. It's the guys in the precinct. It's the guys in Sector Adam Boy, Charlie David. It's the patrol sergeant. It's the desk sergeant. Everyone up top, is not going to be they don't know the ins and outs. It goes back to this, John, right? You really don't know what anyone's facing because you don't live in the same house as them, right? They could be that happy-go-lucky guy, but you don't know what you're going into, right? The stories that I heard that I mean, I've seen in my career, and you've probably heard the guy sleeping in the car, the guy sleeping in the precinct, what's going on. That's just, I'm throwing out a name. That's just David, David just does that. But that's to me, that's a sign of something. So there's so many signs and warning signs. And this day and age of 2026, we've really seen an increase of officer and first responder wellness and suicide prevention and advocacy. There's still so much work to be done. And I really appreciate you guys having me on and calling this the Monday, mental health or the wellness, right? Because it needs to be discussed, but it also needs to know that everyone has a role in it, right? Not just making a post on Facebook or Instagram when an officer takes their lives. Proactive. Let's be proactive. A lot of departments are reactive. So it's on us to be proactive and invest in our community, invest in ourselves. Because I want to have a cop, or even me. You want to be out there if I'm suffering from alcoholism? No, I need the guy next to me to have my back, and I need to have his back.
Right. But they got to have your back on your wellness level as well as your physical and your job level. They should have your back on your wellness level. The second question that I want to give kudos to your girlfriend, because when she asked you that question, why are you doing this to yourself? I saw your eyes roll a little bit, and because that's such a hard question. Either you're going to make an excuse, or you're going to answer honestly, right? And I was wondering how you answered that question when she said, why are you doing this to yourself? Because a lot of guys out there that are battling right now with an addiction, right? They're going to make an excuse. They're going to say, well, I got post-traumatic stress. Well, the job is stressful. That's an excuse. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Because we don't have an answer. There is really no answer. I don't think, anyway. What do you think?
Well, that girlfriend is now my wife, and we have a beautiful son.
All right.
So it's a great
good.
Yeah. But why do I think? I think that we're protecting something that we don't want to share on a fear base, but we're going through so much suffering that it's hard to break it up, right? If you do have the gene, or if you do have, you can go into the alcohol use disorder with so much, from the genetic factor to the way you grew up, environmental factor, right? But I think that you're protecting something, and you don't even know at that point what you're protecting. You're protecting a feeling or a part of you that needs to be healed, right? Because you can kind of look at it like all broken up into different parts work, or actors, I like to call it, right? Being an officer is just a part of me. It's not fully my identity. And when that started to happen early in my career, other parts of me were kind of getting upset. So a big suicide prevention quote that I like to say, John, is that when you're going through a really hard time, or you're going through depression, that it's not a part of you. It's just a part of you. To get curious about it, try not to judge it, and see what it needs, right? Because it's a part of me that maybe was scared to say something, right? That I need help, right? That I'm an officer, right? And stigmatized of a man, and that I feel weak, right? And I don't know what's happening to me. So when she said that to me, I just kind of said, enough is enough. You're right. And I need to get better, because I want to get better, because my life depends on it. Because I know the way that I was going, I probably wouldn't be on this call right now or anything, right? So it's kind of just like let go of control, and yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing, letting go of control. Yeah. And what you did with it, with Reps for Responders, is huge. We had to take our next break. Let's come back and get into the nonprofit. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned.
Look, when you need to respond to an aggressive situation to protect yourself, your family, or your property, understanding your firearm and legal position are critical. Officers know your skills are only as good as your commitment to training. So know what you're doing. So when you're in a vulnerable situation, we can count on your response. Whether you're a beginner or a licensed gun carrier, Carry in Texas offers basic firearms training, Texas permitless carry courses, license to carry, and basic 2A courses so you can understand the responsibilities, situational awareness, and learn the technical skill required when you carry your firearm. Go to carryintexas.com to find the right course for you. Join me, former United States Secret Service agent Samantha Horwitz, on the range for beginner basics, LTC prep, and range practice. Go to carryintexas.com today. That's carryintexas.com.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam, and our guest, Frank Voce, our law enforcement officer. Before we took the break, we've discussed a lot. We've really took a big bite out of so many different issues. And Frank, you brought this up. The job tells you, 5 years after you retire, they don't tell you that you're going to have cardiovascular issues. You can die of a heart attack. They don't discuss the post-traumatic stress. They don't the mental health of childhood problems when you go to a domestic violence situation, and it sparks those memories inside you, and they bring up those traumas. But we are moving forward to starting to help these officers, so they don't fall into the addiction problem. They don't fall into the suicide categories. They don't fall into these things. And you took a big step, because not only mental health, physical health really keeps your life going. It extends your life. And a lot of us just become fat slobs when we retire. We're sitting on the couch, and we forget about our physical wellness. And you have brought this to light, and I thank you for that, because so many officers need this. So tell us a little about Reps for Responders.
Yeah, great points, John. And everything we discussed could just be hours and hours on hand on one each little topic, So again, I appreciate you guys. So back to how Reps started, right? We went through a little bit of my, stay away from the war stories, what happened, asked for help. And so after looking through those statistics and feeling and seeing what happened in 2019 in New York City, it really struck me because, like I said, I was so close to being number 11. And I ended up looking into the statistics, and then I said, I'm going to start a nonprofit. Basically, in cop labor terms, I want to join the fight, right? So I wanted to join the mental health side. So got all the paper, did everything I had to do, paperwork. It was official EIN like the end of 2019, but 2020, March of 2020 was the release date. So we opened up a gym free for first responders and military in March of 2020. That was the illusion. The real thing what we were doing as well is that, and I say real because it didn't happen, is because I wanted to have meetings once a week, roll call without the BS, and whatever is said here stays here. And then our job as an organization is to help you find resources in your community, right? So the gym would just draw guys and girls in, hopefully maybe get a cup of coffee or food before and after, meet other first responders in different departments. Because if let's say I'm a cop in one department, I'm not going to share what I'm going through. It's going to spread like wildfire. But if I meet another fireman or a cop and somewhere else, hopefully I get that connection. Because what really saved me was the support and the love and the connection I received from my family, from the cops that did keep checking on me, from my now wife, and from my future self and my son, right? All these things that I think about when we do these things, I'm able to give my son a life. If I would have made that choice, he wouldn't exist. So when you get really deep, you say, there's a bigger purpose outside than this job. And there's just a little voice in there that has really helped me with that. And I can never forget about God as well and the higher power. So that was the mission. And the mission is to increase the emotional and physical survivability skills of first responders so we can make responsible choices while working and at home, with the number one goal of preventing suicide in the first responder community. But I brought something up, right? What happened in March of 2020? COVID. So the gym was open for 10 days and then we had to close the gym for good. Mission squashed. So at that point, we were getting a lot of positive feedback and I had to make a decision. We had a very small team. We still have a very small team, very proud of all of them. And I said, do I go left and say, well, it was worth a shot and go on with my life? Or do I go right and say, you know what? This is when first responders really need us the most because no one knew what was happening COVID. And this is when Frank needed himself. I needed to be part of something. I needed to be a part of something bigger than myself for my recovery. And we went online like everybody else. And we made it through, guys, and we're still here around. Small little nonprofit. We are small. So shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Nick, Christina, Meg, Jason, Lauren, everyone. That's, those are the main players. We have some volunteers, but we do a lot of work, and we're really passionate because we all have lived experience within it. We're all first responders for the most part, or prior first responders. So it's amazing. And what it looked like after, and then what it looks like today. What it looked like after is those meetings I was going to have. We started running a meeting called Responder Talk every Sunday and Wednesday night originally. And we'd had 2-3 people coming in, and for months. And then it became Today, we run it every Sunday at 7 p.m. for all active, retired, first responders, and military personnel. You don't have to go be going through recovery or anything. You just want to have to better yourself, and you want to be part of a community. That's it. And we've had check-ins from 27 different states and 5 different countries.
Nice.
Average anywhere. It could be a 10 to 20 group. It could be a 5 group. We could have a guest speaker and have 30 people. We've had guest speakers from your everyday cop, firemen share their story, to doctors, NFL players, Navy SEALs. That's just a topic meeting. We'll have a speaker meeting. We'll have a topic meeting. We might watch a powerful TED talk or listen to a powerful audiobook and then discuss that, right? So that's our community right there. That's our bread and butter. Now, going to the gym, we never reopened a gym, but I said at that time in 2020, why not give back to local gyms? They're going through a hard time. So we were able to do, since then, over 100, I think we're at 105. I know for a fact over 100 gym sponsorships where we paid for 3 to 4 months of the first responder, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, CrossFit, strength and conditioning, boxing, all these different gyms, right? Up to, of course, there's different requirements for it, but we were able to do over 100 sponsorships for up to 90 days, right? 3 months. Then I'm also a recovery coach. So we do recovery coaching. We have some people on the team that do recovery coach 12 weeks at a time. We wrote a book. We have done events all over the country speaking, about our stories and our mission. We believe in 5 pillars here at Reps for Responders, right? And it's fitness, nutrition, social connection, which we're doing right now, therapeutic modalities, right? And that doesn't mean just see a therapist. That could be chiropractor, it could be acupuncture, it could be red light. It's whatever works for John and Sam, whatever works for Frank. And number 5 is limit or no alcohol. That's like the bread and butter. And our goal is to just spread that education, spread that wellness, refuse to be a statistic as much as we can, right? I'm not perfect at it at all, but awareness has really at least got me into this chair. So that's what we really dove into from 2020 to 2025. We put on a lot of cool events, Fit for Duty, Rock the River. We put on dinners. I had my own podcast at one point as well. So just really trying to get this message out as much as we can to a really broad audience. And now the gym, our program right now is still the events. We were able to do a big event in Westchester, New York called Fit for Duty. We had over 100 people, close to 100 people, and we were able to find a sponsor to sponsor all first responders and military for free. So looking forward, we're looking to have our big events of our workout events, brunch and DJ and free shirts and free patches and all that, right? All from the sponsorships. But instead of the gym sponsorship guys now, we created a project last year called Project Labyrinth. And last year we did 3 departments. And this year we're already up to 3 departments where we've donated to police and fire departments full custom dumbbells with the Reps for Responders logo on it, up to 100 pounds, and a dumbbell rack. So now we're getting it to the whole department, and we give them a plaque. And we go there and we speak about our mission, and we put whoever shows up, right, the chief or whoever the point of contact is, we put them through a partner workout. And now with the plaque on there, there's a QR code to our website. So not only the guys and girls that are current, the future guys and girls that are coming more prone to asking for help, to talking about how they're feeling, to working, to all these things that, in the 90s and 2000s was, what did this guy just say? Is he IAB or something, right? So now this is coming out more to not hide so much. So we're doing that. And we also put together a full training on what reps is, burnout, mental health, suicide prevention, fitness. So it's almost like a little catalog where departments can choose what they want PowerPoint presentations on. So we're really starting to do that as a pathway. So we believe in multiple pathways. We've done blood work for guys. We have sponsored guys to retreats in upstate New York, in Texas. We have donated over 1,500 healthy meals to different departments. So whatever we can find to stick for the department or the individuals, we are do our best. And if we can't, then we'll recommend you to other, organizations. And, we help guys and girls find treatment and therapy and things like that, mainly in the New York, New Jersey area.
You have those connection points, which are super important. And, talking about connection, we're going into our next break here, but we're saying live is John and I are very connected to coffee. And so we've got some friends, Ben and Amanda Holmes. They were on the show, so you can look up the episode and watch what they're about. But they founded East Texas Legends Coffee Company, and it reflects their journey from Ben's Marine Corps service and law enforcement career, overcoming post-traumatic stress to finding purpose in ranching. Relocating to an East Texas ranch, they identified a need for a local coffee brand. Now they're opening their first coffee shop in Lindale, Texas, rooted in faith, family, and community. Their mission: inspire purposeful conversations over coffee. So drink coffee, be legendary. Go to etxlegendscoffee.com. Use promo code BADGE for 15% off coffee and merch. So I'll give you one quick 10 seconds to get that QR code with your phone, and we're going back to the screen. So John and I have our tumblers. It is iced coffee in Texas time, especially in the PM, because
hot coffee.
Well, yeah.
That's nice.
Okay. Yeah, iced coffee in here. It's
hot coffee in here.
Yes. So yeah, that's coffee and merch. And we want to say a huge congratulations to Ben and Amanda. Their coffee is going to be, if you know Cavender's, where you can buy Western wear all across Texas. Their coffee is going to be in every Cavender's. So I think it's Boot Barn. So make sure you pick up at least a pound or 12, because you won't be sorry. Get all the variety. Promise you won't be sorry. But yeah, I'm going to see them soon. So huge congrats and keep up the great work. Now we're going back to the show. So take it, John.
Well, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam and Frank Voce with Reps for Responders. Before we're talking about, mental health, we're talking about physical health. We really covered a lot of ground with what we're doing. And Frank, I don't want you to say you got a small nonprofit, because,
you're doing huge
just
things.
Hearing that little dialogue that you did just before we broke for commercial, man, you guys are doing so much for so many, and, sometimes we value ourselves, and Badge of Honor does the same thing every once in a while. We value ourselves on our viewers or certain clicks. We can't do that. We got to value on ourselves on the product that we give out. And if we can change one person's life, in which you are doing multiple times over each and every day, that's where we got to value ourselves, not on clicks or views. We value ourselves on how we can change lives. And you are changing lives, Frank, you and your team, each and every day. Know it or not, you are making a huge difference in our law enforcement and our first responder communities.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I meant to say, maybe I didn't articulate correctly, that we have a very small team, because I say we're like the Mighty Mouse. We're going to bring it, we were talking before the show, right? We're going to bring it with the best that we got. That I'm saying we have a very small team, and we're very passionate, right? So I am very blessed of how many people, it's live, learn, and pass on, because if I can affect the next one, it's going to affect the next cop, and that next cop also might affect the way that they walk inside their house, John, after work. And then it's going to affect their family, and it's going to affect their kids, and then it's going to affect their kids' kids. So you see how the dots are always connecting. And I need to say this for suicide prevention, is that if you're going through a hard time right now, literally put your feet on the ground, right? Be where your feet are, because our physical body is always in the present moment, but our mind loves to project and loves to go backwards, right? We can't forget the past, nor can we shut the door on it. We need to remember, but we have a choice, right? So right now I'm choosing to be where my feet are. And I say to myself is that one day we are going to meet people, and we're going to have an effect on people that aren't even born yet, don't even exist, or we don't even know exist. And right now this conversation, right, is so powerful, because I had no idea about the show until Sam reached out. So that's about giving yourself grace, giving yourself a hug. I'm giving you a hug right now, John, like you're saying, and let the play out. I was going, and that's my motto for this year. I have to share it, guys, is let the play out. Why was Tom Brady such a great quarterback, even though I'm a Jet fan, is that he let his receivers go and do their thing. He had faith in his receivers, right? And not trying to, as cops, we try to control. We need to fix this. We have this scene. We're going to do that. We go to that call. What are we going to do at that call? And then what are we going to say when we go back and we try to get meal, and the boss denies us, and how are we going to scam and all that? And then all of a sudden you're home and you're talking to your wife like that. And she's like, what are you talking about? Right. So, right, take a step back, breathe, let the play out. We really can't control much in our life. As you know, John, we could be on a domestic and we think things are going well, and all of a sudden, boom, you're putting cuffs on the guy and the girl's jumping on you. Wait, she was cool the whole time, So just give yourself some grace and say, we do so much as first responders, right? And embrace that. Now I get a little passionate right now, but embrace
that's great.
That's what it's
that
about.
Shows hard.
You just gotta,
our whole team has that as well.
you just got a huge thumbs up from our people watching on Facebook. Thank you for that. And I got alerted. I apologize if you've been watching on Instagram and the screen is blue. I have no idea what is going on. Just pop over and watch us on Facebook, because they're owned by the same company. So I apologize. I wish I could fix it. But yeah, that and we had talked off camera before the show, Frank, about the need to care for ourselves so that we can give to our partners in the department, our friends, especially our family, and that it's not selfish. We have to do that. Can you expand on the importance of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Did we lose audio for a second?
So going back to what you said, Sam, bear with me here. Let's see. I think if we don't put ourselves first, I think that's selfish, because even it's still a choice to do certain things. And it's also hard. It's hard to get into, right? But it's also so simple, right? Like, take care of yourself. And especially when you hear I don't have enough time, but then you have enough time to go out to the bar with the guys from work. You have enough time to, watch TV and play video games and choose all these things, right? And I know that's also a coping mechanism, right? That's literally a coping mechanism. But we need to take care of ourselves so we could show up for ourselves with compassion, with empathy. I'm just talking about for us, not the public, nor the cops yet, right? With love, with getting curious about how you're feeling. And then once you're able to start to grow inside yourself, being able to communicate with your loved ones, showing up with them. Because one of my biggest fears, guys, was, what if I was passed out drunk and someone came home and I wasn't able to be there for my family? Or if I'm walking around the city with my then girlfriend and something happened, right? So I don't even want to put myself in situations, but we do come first, right? Because we know what happens on the line of duty if we get an injury and we have to put a tourniquet on. If we don't put the tourniquet on ourselves, one, how are we going to help anyone else when you're sitting there bleeding out? So it's the same thing, right? If that makes sense, but you have to, because then if you can't pour love into yourself, especially in a relationship, and right, law enforcement has one of the highest divorce rates, right, in the career. If you don't know how to love yourself, how do you expect to love somebody else?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, right? But it's just something to be aware of and start, because you deserve that. I mean, come on.
Well, a lot of it too. And when we go back to childhood stuff, a lot of first responders go in because of childhood trauma. They go into this profession and give back. So they're already giving people. They don't know how to take care of themselves. And then when they start taking care of themselves, some of the people in their support network or around them start to drop off, because they're like, oh, you said no, or you said this, or you're not doing this for me no more. Because once you start taking care of yourself, those are the people that outside world that are selfish, because they can't tap into you no more, because you are taking yourself as a priority and not making them the priority.
One of the most powerful 2 letters you could say in this world to prevent burnout, and you just said it, N-O. N-O, right? How much more can you take, right? And you want to talk about people pleasing, John? Sign me up for top 3 category. I love it, right? But now I'm aware of it, because, I want to be able to show up for everyone, and I'm this kind of guy, I'm a good guy and all this, right? But then who am I not showing up for when my head hits the pillow? Right. So only, again, going back to that theory, how much can the body and the brain can take over time with the compound stress and running and gunning on the street and then showing up for this person and that person. Of course, we have to, we take care of our family, but you have to find time for yourself. And even if it's 20 minutes a day, American Anxiety Association say there's a study, right? This is literally what they say is 25 to 30 minutes a day, and 25 to 30 minutes a day, we're talking of any type of physical activity, right? I'm never going to say you have to do powerlifting, you have to do bodybuilding, you have to do high rocks, you have to run a marathon. No, it's what you like. Okay. We have to be clear. It's what you like. Can help fight depression up to 25%. I'm taking that pill every day, because I know if I don't do my fitness, if I don't do my journaling, if I don't do my meditation, if I don't still do my weekly groups, you think, John and Sam, you think I still want to, there's parts of me that show up, oh, another AA meeting. Oh, you're doing, right? But that's what I need to do to lead myself, my family, and my guys at work. So those are non-negotiables. I battle with it sometimes every day. I mean, some days, but that's my medicine, right? So instead of taking pills, I'm not going to get into any medicine, right? This is not what it's about, but those are my pills right there, right now.
100%. Yeah.
It's a healthy choice.
It is. It is. You know, we got to take our last quick break and thank OBBM. We'll be right back after these messages.
Interested in starting a podcast or TV show? Worried about what you'll say and how to keep it engaging? Think you'd like to be a guest on podcast, radio, or TV shows? Hi, I'm Susan Hamilton, owner and founder of OBBM Network, and I would like to invite you to an OBBM media training to get the tools you need for a relaxed and polished performance you'll be proud to share. Our specialized training techniques include role play, voice training, and everything you need to deliver a confident, clear, and engaging interaction. Go to offbeatbusiness.com. Go to the calendar and register for a training that's convenient for you. Dates available now, 214-714-0495.
Hey, welcome back to A Badge of Honor TV with John and Sam and Frank Voce with Reps for Responders. Man, this has been an amazing show today. We've dove into so many great things to help our first responders out there, and they're not difficult things to follow. It's just taking control of your own life and putting the things that don't matter as much on the back burner a little bit. Let's start taking control of our own lives. Let's start learn our identity. And you will see the world will be so much more peaceful if you can do that.
Yeah, Frank, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so repsforresponders.org is our website. Our Instagram is reps_for_responders. For me personally, on Instagram, it's Frankie_reps. Those are our best platforms. We're on LinkedIn as well and Facebook. And our email is my email is repsforresponders@gmail.com. And then we have info@repsforresponders.org as well. So those are the types of things. Okay.
And you said you mainly work in the New York, New Jersey area, but you did mention Texas. And does that go for if somebody wants to reach out, no matter where they are watching this show, a first responder, and they are interested in the sponsorships for the gyms or whatever their healing modality is? Will you go nationwide if asked?
Yeah, so we've done things in Virginia before. We've done things in Rhode Island. To be clear, the Responder Talk is open to anyone, right, nationwide. You just have to reach out via email or Instagram. We verify your first responder and you're in. I also forgot to mention we've created 3 ebooks recently that took 8 months. One on a 90-day fitness program for first responders, recovery such as sleep and actual physical movements recovery, and nutrition, right? So I wanted to put that out there. That's we're working on. We haven't released it yet, so stay tuned. But we also have the recovery coaching, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, that recovery coaching. The gyms, it's a lot tougher because we don't really know the gym owners down there, right? So it's very hard to kind of build that trust and everything. That's why we're slowly doing the gym equipment, and hopefully we can kind of move one state at a time. And we have different trainings in different states as well. Like if a department wants us to come down and maybe put on a training and go from there. But please, even if you're not in the East Coast area, again, we've had check-in from 27 different states. The best part of it, we got New York guys checking in. They can make a phone call and know it's not going to get out in their department. Texas, Maryland, California, Nevada, right? So that trust is so much easier to build there for that little community. I call it, it's a tribe. It has helped me so much.
That is incredible. Well, yeah. And that call that you have, and it's on Sundays, right? Sundays at
7 to 8 p.m. Once you verify your first responder with us, you get the Zoom link, and it's the same Zoom link every Sunday.
And that's 8 p.m. Eastern, obviously adjust for your time zone.
7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
Okay.
Every time on our Instagram, we put who the guest speaker is. So I used to run the meeting for 5 years, and then I had to admit, right, that I was definitely feeling it. So now I run it about once or twice a month. We have Nick, who's a former law enforcement officer, now therapist, run the group, and we have Lauren, who's a doctor, run the group. So you're getting real good professionals from different life experience running the responder talk, and a little different ways of education and just life experience in general. And it's been going really well.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Well, Frank, we can't thank you enough for coming on tonight, taking people through the program, because it's like you said, it doesn't do anybody any good if we don't have the awareness of how we're being to be able to correct it. And doggone it, we want to outlive the pension part, right, John? We want to be healthy enough so that, that 66 is not like, oh my God, here it
I got to
comes.
ask that question. Frank, you got on a job in 2015. I was already off the job, but I got on a job back in 90. And in the academy, they said, 50% of you are going to be divorced, but they said, that, you want to outlive your pension. You want to, 5 years after retirement, we're all dying. And that's what the NYPD, that's what every police department counts on, that we're not going to take care of ourselves and then not going to have to pay that pension 5 years after.
Yeah. We
got to show them, man, we're going to outlive you. We're going to collect that pension for 20, 30 more years after retirement.
Yeah.
Yep. Amen.
So thank you so much. And anybody that's interested that comes through our doors or reaches out, we will send them your way. Really appreciate you coming on tonight,
Thanks,
Frank.
Frank. Pleasure.
Thank you, Sam and John. I really appreciate you. God bless. Be where your feet are and be safe. Thank you.
Thanks. Absolutely.
Man,
it's an amazing program. And he has such a great staff. It is small, but they're doing such huge things because frankly, they're saving people's lives at so many different ways. And all you have to do is plug in website again, repsforresponders.org. Check them out. You will not be sorry. They have a great website. We have got a lot of announcements to go over tonight. We mentioned before our friends at Sierra Delta, BJ Ganem, Monday at 9/21, September 21st. They're having a fundraiser. Sorry, my dog. Maisie's going crazy back there. They're having their they're having a golf fundraiser. So if you play golf, Sierra Delta, amazing organization, reach out to them, put together your team. There's a few spaces left. We got to thank our friends Liz and Joe Bartholomew up in Wisconsin. They are running Responders Retreat, and that is the end of September 28th to October 2nd in Three Lakes, Wisconsin. I mean, Northern Lights, the whole thing. FirstRespondersRetreat.org. It's sold out the last 2 years. They have, I didn't check in with Joe, my bad. They're close to selling out. You're not intense. You're at a campground, cabins, the whole thing. It is incredible. So get in touch, firstrespondersretreat.org, and secure your spot. And, Frank had mentioned the gym, getting really healthy mentally and physically. And so the end of September for us is Texas Takeover here in Allen, Texas, September 25th and 26th. That's a Friday, Saturday. We will be taking over Texas Takeover, and the group will be taking over a gym. So get all the details of Texas Takeover at 100.com. This is all about learning to operate at 100% with the folks from the 100 Club, which is been on X for years, and it spans the globe. They're all coming to Allen, Texas. Get your tickets, TexasTakeover100.com. Learn from people who are doing it every single day. If you're at 100%, connect with these folks. Learn to do it maybe on a different level. Get your routine, mix it up so you can grow even more. And because, there's never a ceiling. There's always room to learn and grow. If you need to learn what 100% looks like, feels like, and put together your plan, you want to be in Allen with us. Again, September 25th, 26th, learning how to do that. And we just want to thank Mikhail. He's Dukes on Facebook. And I'm sorry, Dukes. I messed that one up. Forget Facebook. He is Dukes on X. and you want to connect there, again, 100 Club on X, and come on out again. That is September 25th, 26th, Texas, takeover100.com for tickets for all of our other events. abadgeofhonor.org. We will come into your department, 8-hour interactive workshop, TCOL credits, where we're talking about the mental wellness aspects and things that as first responders, we don't like to talk about it, but we don't want you to fall in the same holes as we did. And so we're going to learn together. So badgeofhonor.org for that. For all of the first responders listening out there, thank you so much for what you do every single day. Stay strong, stay committed, because you have prayer warriors out there that are committed to making sure you get home safe every single night or whatever your shift is. So keep up the amazing work. For all of our veterans out there, thank you for fighting the good fight that allows John and I to do a show like this every single week. And to all of our active duty personnel spread out across the globe, we are praying for your safety and well-being as well. Thank you for keeping our shores safe here at home. John, take us home.
Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening, share, subscribe, send us to somebody you know. You know, Frank's words were powerful today. All of our guests that come on this show bring a valuable resource to our mental health, to our physical bodies, and to keeping us mentally fit to outlive our pensions. So just that one click to share can save a life, and keep up doing what you're doing each and every week. And thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Hey, we will see you. Don't forget, America, 250th birthday. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Happy birthday, America.
Enjoy the holiday. Happy birthday, America.
A Badge of Honor podcast is produced for the OBBN Network podcast and protected under copyright law. For content permissions, please submit your request to abadgeofhonor.com on the content page. For OBBN Network programming information, please call 214-714-0495 today.